Alright, so I wanted to give you guys an update on my daughter. I know some of you don't care at all, and I get those comments a lot, but a lot of you do, so I sincerely appreciate that. If you missed my last video about my daughter, basically, long story short, she's had 29 major operations in her life. She was born with a very, very serious disability. She's doing pretty well despite all the surgery, but she had to have yet another surgery last week. So if you want to learn more about that surgery, I did a video, like I said. I just gave an update before the surgery happened. But again, a long story short, basically she's got 2 devices in her brain that she needs to survive, and one of them malfunctions. It's called a VP shunt, a ventricular peritoneal shunt. And that means it goes from the head into the tummy. So the device itself is in the head, and then the tubing goes from the brain down into the stomach. So in the stomach is where the tube somehow cracked in half and broke. So the bottom part of the tube was just floating in her stomach somewhere, which is dangerous in and of itself. So because that shunt was broken, they have to take it all the way out and then put a brand new one in. And without those shunts, then the fluid collects in her brain and it starts to swell, and that's how you get brain damage and eventually death. So that's called hydrocephalus. You may have heard of that before. So it's a pretty risky operation. It's not like it's a super easy wisdom tooth removal. I mean, they open up her head and they do a little bit on her stomach as well. And it's a pretty serious surgery. So it's supposed to take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. That's minimal. And the shunts themselves, they last about 10 years. They are man-made devices, so eventually she will have to have them replaced. And she's had malfunctions before. She's had this surgery. We knew what to expect. So yes, it was a big, scary surgery, but she's done it before, although she was very, very little at the time. So the neurosurgeon went in extremely confident, and waiting is the worst part. So sitting in that waiting room, she's had surgeries that have lasted over 12 hours before. So let me tell you, waiting for any amount of time is just heartbreaking. I mean, it's terrible. Anxiety, nervousness, it's just horrible. So about 2 hours went by, and remember, that's about the minimum time for the surgery, and we hadn't even got an update yet. Normally they come out and they say, hey, we just started the incision, or hey, she's closing up now. Nothing. So of course, we're freaking out. Then one of the head nurses comes out, which is never a good sign, and she says that basically they can't find the bottom part of the tube that broke off, and they need to get it out. And that's where it went from bad to worse, because they had to call in another surgeon, a general surgeon. Remember, this is the neurosurgeon doing the surgery. They had to call in a general surgeon, and they had to open up her stomach completely. So it went from being a small slit in her stomach to a huge open, all of it. And they said even with that general surgeon, they can't find and fix the tube, then they can't put a new one in that area. And the alternative is something called a VA shunt. Now remember, she has a VP, that's from the head to the stomach. The other one is from your head to your heart. And of course, we were all freaking out because we don't want them messing with the heart. That's dangerous, it's scary. And so that's what they said. They said, hey, we're scrubbing in another surgeon. They're gonna open up your daughter's stomach. If we can't fix it, it's going into her heart. So it was just beyond nerve-wracking, and it went about 6.5 hours. So remember, it was supposed to be about 2, 6.5. And then they finally came out and they said, luckily that general surgeon was able to find and remove the tube, and there was enough room to put a new one in there so they didn't have to put it into her heart. So thank goodness. I mean, we were freaking out. It was a long, long time in that waiting room. So then the recovery is just painstakingly worse, because remember, normally with this surgery, it's just a little incision on her stomach. The head incision is the main part. But because they had to open up her stomach all the way, she had double the pain. It was just like having a huge open stomach surgery. So what was supposed to be a pretty swift recovery ended up being way, way worse. So she took the whole last week of school off, and even this week she's still in a lot of pain, and it's hard for her to even walk. And because she's kind of hunched over due to the big incision on her stomach, then her back has been hurting. So it's just a mess. So she has the big head wound, the big stomach wound, and now her back is starting to trouble her. And that's where most of her disability is anyway, her back. So it's just a trifecta of not goodness. But the surgery went as well as it could, I guess. And it wasn't a smashing hit because remember, it was supposed to be 2 hours and it was almost 7. And they did a lot more extensive surgery than we anticipated. So that means the price is going to be god-awful high. We had to have another surgeon, the extended anesthesia, the extended time. It was just a mess. And I'm dreading the bills from all that, to say the least. So long story short, the surgery was good. She is recovering now. and it just didn't go as smoothly as possible. So here's hoping we don't have to have another surgery until at least another year, but we'll see. So I just wanted to thank each and every one of you, all the super chat donations you guys sent me. I didn't ask for any of that, and you guys just were sending them in on that last video. That was absolutely insane. I showed my wife and my daughter. I mean, it was amazing. I can't thank you guys enough. Incredible. And of course, another way to help me is just to use my Support-A-Creator Code. I use those earnings on my daughter's medical bills, and all of her medical devices and accessories that she needs on a monthly basis as well. So that's the best way to help me. All you got to do is put my Support-A-Creator Code in. It's tabortime, TABORTIME. So there you go. Again, I just wanted to thank everyone, and hopefully we're on the mend for now. But if she needs any other services or, God forbid, another surgery, I'll definitely keep you updated, because it does put me out of commission for a while. But luckily, I was able to stay home with her, and all is well at the moment. She's still recovering nicely. And again, I just wanted to thank each and every one of you that helped me out. I truly appreciate it. So there you go. That's all there is to it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. A like is always appreciated. And as mentioned, don't forget to use my Support-A-Creator Code, which is tabortime.